Subriel Matias actually signed with Matchroom Boxing. So now on the same side of the street, as Devin Haney. So two of the belts are at Matchroom. One's at PBC and one is at Top Rank. So, a big question out there is going to be who's going to be the first person to step up and take the Subriel challenge. Devin obviously has to get through Ryan Garcia, but the winner of that fight is over there with Subriel. So can we see that unification bout coming this year?
I don't know if it's gonna be this year, but one thing I can say for sure, it's looking like it might be the winner of Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Now, I've heard rumors that Subriel may end up fighting Richard Hitchison, but I don't know how true that is. Is Richard Hitchison under the Matchroom banner?
I don't know where he's at, but didn't Richard say something about like he didn't want that fight, something because of the rehydration clause or something like that?
Yeah, he was saying that, but he actually came out with a few other interviews saying that he would fight. He would take that fight.
Okay.
If it came down, if it came down his way, he would end up taking the fight, at least to kind of propel him to get into another and try to unify with another champion. So I guess he's changed his tune since then. Maybe the comments got to him. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, that can be kind of a fight that, maybe they'll set that up between Matias and, Richard Hitchison, since Richard Hitchison probably, I think they're going to be, that's one of his mandatories. And then while that's happening, of course, or Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney happens, Matias, Richard Hitchison, and then, of course, the winners of both of those bouts will face each other maybe at the end of the year or maybe early 2025, right? Who knows? But it seems like it's on track to be that way.
So a couple other things happening. A guy who's always left out, I think Gary Anton Russell. I don't know where he fits in the equation, but I know I've said this a couple times now. It's kind of interesting because he was one of those names that were really propelling at 140, but we got some new insertions at 140, and I feel like it's kind of backburnered him.
Right.
So I'm always interested to see where he comes into the equation because I think that's a pretty tough fight for a lot of people, right? We got Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor 2 going to take place. So let's say if Jack Catterall gets the win, as many people thought he won the first fight. Is he justified in getting a shot at one of these guys? Maybe Teofimo, because if what a lot of people think was fair was him winning that fight, then it would have been him holding the belt for Teo to have to challenge. You know what I mean? So can Jack Catterall reinsert his name in any of these equations at 140?
Absolutely. I think if he beats, because I believed he beat, and most people believed he beat Josh Taylor, he was just robbed of that fight, right? He beats Josh Taylor again. I think it will definitely insert him in that route towards Matias and that Richard Hitchison, right? Maybe he kind of skips the line and faces Matias instead as a result, and then potentially could, find his way into the mix with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney.
Yeah, because I think Matchroom is more friendly with Top Rank. When it comes to PBC, everybody gets a little funny, but Matchroom, I think they're more willing to work with Top Rank. So obviously, I think Jack Catterall's over there at Top Rank with Josh Taylor and stuff. But if he were to be successful in that fight, I could see Top Rank and Matchroom doing business to maybe put him in there, because let's say you put him in there with Matias, right?
Yeah.
And if he beats Josh Taylor, I think that's a good name for Matias, and then because now what you have to start doing is Matias is very fan friendly, but you got to get him in front of more fans. So you got to start building his name, letting more people see him, because, he's electrifying out there. You know what I'm saying? He's coming forward. He's punching, he's a very strong guy. He's coming forward, action, going to take some hits to give some hits, so very fan-friendly fighter, but you want more people to see him kind of develop his name. That way, when you have one of these unification bouts, let's say he faces like a Devin Haney, people aren't just like, who's Devin fighting? You know what I mean? So now it's time to just start like promoting him the right way and letting people know, like, listen, there's a star over here. You know what I mean?
100% agree.
So. Yeah. Matias's name is on fire, but of course we got, Devin Ryan, Pitbull, Rolly. So we'll see what happens there, because I do still think the masses, when you mentioned Richardson Hitchens, I have to look who he signed to, but I do still think the masses are looking at that belt that Rolly holds. Like, that's the easiest one to get our hands on.
100%. Yeah. And, and who's to say some of these fighters may pivot, right? We've seen Ryan do it, pivot multiple times. Initially Devin, then try to pivot to Rolly, then went back. So it is we just have to wait and see, right? I've even heard Richard Hitchison says he was targeting Jack Catterall previously, but then of course Jack Catterall went in another direction with Josh Taylor, rightfully so, right? So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I was kind of shocked because I thought Josh Taylor was going to move up as well, but because I don't want to say he was weight drained, I don't want to make any excuses for how bad he looked, but 2 fights now, I think he's looked very there's been a lot of uncharacteristic moments,
Yes.
And people have been saying he's a big 140 when they come and actually stand next to him. And I remember years ago he was trying to call for the Terrence Crawford fight, so I think he's been trying to move up. So I'm actually surprised he hasn't moved up, because due to the name, I think at 47, if Terrence relinquishes the belts, of course, I think they would line him up to get a title fight pretty quickly. But
I agree.
Maybe he cleans some things up and he thinks he can, regain some momentum at 140. We'll see. But 140 right now, especially with some guys jumping from 35. At one point, 35 was like the hottest division, but right now it's starting to seem like 140 is the hottest division.
Yeah, 140 is it. 140 is blazing right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely leading the way.
Yeah, and I think if we can get a couple more guys there, I think that division could really be set on fire. But definitely, first of all, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the support we've been getting. Support we'll continue to get, but definitely subscribe to the channel. Then like, comment. Tell us your thoughts on 140, the 140-pound division. What you think is the best division in boxing right now? What do you think will happen? Who do you think will step in there with Subriel Matias first? And of course, if we see the comments, we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But 2 cents short of $1. More videos to come soon.